Well, hello everybody. Today we have an interview with an amazing musician. His name is Paul Clark, a drummer and a music director. Now, Paul will give the masterclass on Tuesday, April 13th at 6 p.m. How to find success booking your band. He has 15 years of experience as a freelancer musician, so he has plenty of advice to share. Paul, welcome to the interview. Thank you for being here. How are you doing today?
I'm doing really, really well. Thank you for having me.
Why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself? Like, describe yourself as a musician. What's your style?
Well, I was very blessed to have two parents from quite different backgrounds. My both parents are Canadian, but my father was born and raised in Mexico, actually, born in Venezuela and raised in Mexico, and moved to Canada when he was about 16 years old. So. And then my mom, I grew up in Chilliwack, which is a town about an hour away from Vancouver. My mom was born and raised there. So I have a good mix of, like old country and blues from my mom's side and a lot of kind of world music and specifically Latin music from my dad's side. So that's actually, in a lot of ways overall, that's been the mix of what I've studied as a musician and what I've been interested in. So it's pretty broad, but easy to trace where it came from for me. Yeah.
I think it's a little bit from everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's cool. I also want to ask you, when you just started, what was the main challenge for a freelancer in the music industry?
People consider it to be competitive is a word they use really often. Which in my opinion, it just means that there are a lot of people out there that are making music. So that can be a little bit daunting sometimes especially when you're younger. You kind of wonder how you quote unquote stack up as an instrumentalist or an artist. So that was challenging, and I guess sometimes it is challenging still to see opportunities, musical opportunities that you might want, and someone else is in, has that gig, so to speak, or whatever it is. But I think as I get older, I guess I start to realize more and more that what defines you as an individual, whether you're an artist or a band leader, let's say a singer or whatever that might be, or as an instrumentalist that typically accompanies those people, that those challenges start to kind of dilute a little bit. But when you're younger, I think it can be really daunting to realize how much work it can be to to practice enough and integrate yourself into a community. So that kind of comes to mind the most, but it starts to fade the more people you meet and the more work that you put into it.
So would you say it fades away because you get better at it, you get used to it?
Yeah. And then I think about that word competitive a lot, where it's or I think when people think of the competitiveness of the music industry and how hard it can be in that way, it's more about thinking about opportunities they see that they want rather than creating their own opportunities. It's one of those things where the more you learn, the more you find out there is to learn as you go. But I think when people kind of tap into who they are and an honest expression of that, then it becomes a little bit more clear.
And speaking about when you started and everything, how was your first booking? Like the first time you were like, okay, I finally closed this one, or a big performance, like the first big one?
Okay. Well, whether or not it's a big one, my earliest experiences, I grew up playing in punk bands, and I came from initially quite a DIY background, like kind of grassroots, which I loved that experience. I loved the idea of it was all kind of like, if you want something, you have to go out and get it for yourself and find ways to do it. And in my early days, I was doing all of the tour booking for the bands that I was in, and I actually, the one thing that sticks out was I wasn't really getting any attention in the emails. I wasn't getting any responses, and I think I was about 18 years old or something like that. So I just created an alias. I created a fake name for a fake booking.
What was the alias? Tell us.
His name was David Neufeld. I have no idea how I came up with that, but a friend of mine who from another band and myself, we made this imaginary person and who was representing our groups, and it actually really worked. I wouldn't recommend that these days, just because that was prior to social media, so it would be pretty easy to be found out. But that's one that sticks out, and you know, I kind of gave up that little project once I realized, well, you know, if I was able to find the language to communicate with you know, venue representatives and festival representatives and stuff as myself, then maybe I should just try to stop using this imaginary person. So
Well, I think it's pretty creative, actually.
Yeah, I think it was born out of a lot of frustration at the time.
And fair enough. It would sound really professional, like, "Hi, I'm David. I'm representing
Yeah.
the band."
I remember I had a really great venue in Victoria. I was with that band. I think this was maybe 16 years ago. And the venue representative from that band actually pulled me aside and said, "I got to tell you about that David Neufeld guy. He's just so great to deal with." And I was like, "Oh God, I just have to stop this."
You're like, "Yeah, let them know you say that."
Yeah, I'll tell him you said hi. Yeah.
So, sorry, previously you mentioned about how competitive the industry is. I want to ask you, how much is it? Like, and also what would be the best advice to differentiate yourself or your band from everybody else?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And you know, in the presentation that I'll be doing on Tuesday, which I'm so happy to be invited to do so. Yeah, I try to make it pretty clear that it's just, you know, there's a lot of information out there about these type of things, and what I'll be sharing is things that I've found really stick out to me as a musician and as a venue representative, which I am here in Vancouver for a place called Guild and Company. And the best way I can kind of sum it up is that it to prepare people, whether they're instrumentalists or artists, that it can take a lot more time than you would think sometimes, but that the bands that always stick out are just true representations of who those people are, you know, like really just, oh man, it sounds so cliche, but stick true to who you are as an artist, and the more work you put inside of you, that always is what turns heads, you know, deep down with you know, a lot of the festival committees and representatives that I know and venues, they're all really genuinely excited about music and art first and foremost, and you can always, all of us kind of get this excitement when we see somebody that is really just clearly put so much work into defining what their art is to them, you know. And I've been trying really hard to find a way to say that without sounding like everybody else out there that says, you know, be true to yourself, but it really you know, it really counts. It's the most important thing, because it really turns heads when you just see like that combination of really hard work with artistic integrity and artistic expression, no matter what that is to you. That combination is really infectious to everybody, to audiences and to people that are in the music industry. So
No, and I can imagine that people can tell, you know, audience or is hiring. Okay, so
yeah,
that's from this. What are other tools that a musician could learn by attending your class? What are other things you're going to teach?
Oh, okay. That's a great question. I'm not good at this sometimes, but I'll try to keep it brief. I I've kind of conceptualized a couple different frameworks, in terms of what route, let's say, someone might want to take within the music industry. I make a definition between what the route is typically for people that want to be in the pop music world, or have kind of more what they might perceive to be more financial success or fame, shall we say. It's not in any way a criticism of how the music industry works in regards to pop music. That's not my intention at all. And I've worked with a lot of artists myself, and in a lot of different career paths. So, but the other path is more of like what your goals are musically, and you can break that down into sort of more grassroots examples, or I want people to. I would hope that people from my masterclass would learn that, here comes another cliche. As long as you're really, really enjoying the music that you're making, then there are no losses. There's no, that's a clear success, because the longer the further you go in the music industry as an instrumentalist, or on the business side, you realize that that's the only real success, is the enjoyment from playing, and that doesn't have to be defined by Spotify plays, or the amount of money that you make, or anything like that. So I just kind of focus on breaking that all down and letting people know the ways that you can find success, as opposed to just broad exposure.
Of course. I think about it, and it's like, how many people can actually say they love what they do,
Exactly.
So...
Exactly. And
no,
go ahead.
Please keep on.
No, I was trailing off. Go for
it. I just want to ask you, finally, who can join us for the masterclass, and how do they subscribe?
Well, as anyone can join us. It's definitely it's all ages too. There won't be any foul language or anything like that, I hope. But if you go through the Latincouver.ca website, there's a tab right up on the top for the music hack, and just sign up through there. I should also say that if anybody has any questions, they're more than welcome to email me. My email is paulclarkdrums@gmail.com. So it's just PAULCLARKDRUMS. Yeah, that's it, @gmail.com. So if you have any trouble at all with registering or anything, please absolutely feel free to reach out.
Well, Paul, that is so nice of you. I would say those are all the questions I have, unless there's anything else you want to add, to mention.
No, I really appreciate your time, and I look forward to chatting to whoever feels like coming out on Tuesday.
Well, thank you very much. I am Karina Guzman, and this was the interview with Paul Clark, professional drummer and music director. You cannot miss his masterclass, How to Find Success Booking Your Band. It will be on Tuesday, April 13th at 6 p.m. online, totally free. You can attend from anywhere. And we will leave all the steps to register here in the description, and even more information in the Latincouver website, social media. Now you have his email. So Paul, thank you. It has been a total pleasure, and we'll see you in your masterclass.
Thank you so much.